Welcome back to Movies TV Man. You of course can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Saturday's edition of the DCEU Daily. And today we are going to theorise about the future of the DCEU with two films in particular: the Flash movie and Michael Keaton's involvement, and my prediction of a very, very big twist, a 7 David Fincher type of twist at the end of the Batman, where I might have mentioned in passing before. Now, from the moment Michael Keaton was announced as someone who was going to return as Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton from the 89-92 Batman, I was very suspicious. I think it was a head-scratching moment, because the more we've learned, the more puzzling his involvement is. Now, we've been told very little about Keaton's involvement. Now, we've been told that Batfleck and Barry have this thing in common of losing parents, and I understand that. And it seems like Ben Affleck's Batman and Bruce Wayne will be a prominent part in the first act of the Flash movie. But we have seen a sneak peek of the Flash movie. But we still haven't really been given much of a clue to Keaton's involvement and why he's there. So, issue number one: how can Michael Keaton be a part of a Flashpoint universe? A Flashpoint basically means a change in the Earth 1 timeline. Well, Keaton was never part of the Earth 1 timeline, so how can Flashpoint bring him in to kind of an alternate Earth 1? So I've been doing some thinking. A lot of people have been talking about Reverse Flash and Eobard Thawne, and in the sneak peek we saw two versions of Barry: Al Barry, another Barry, and Sasha Calais Supergirl. Now, I've already predicted that I think Sasha Calais is a Flashpoint Supergirl. Now, this doesn't work because not necessarily are we in the Flashpoint universe in that sneak peek. We could actually be in Keaton's, Bruce Wayne's, Batman's Earth. So if we're there, that could be a different scenario. But if we are in a Flashpoint scenario, and I know that Keaton's Batman could be in a Flashpoint Earth 1 kind of alternate Earth scenario, but because Flashpoint changes things and mixes things up. And I have already predicted we could be looking at not a Flashpoint for Earth 1, but a Flashpoint for the entire multiverse. In terms of what Machete's already said, this makes more sense. So we could be doing that. But what we could be doing here is, let's talk about the Flash TV series. In the Flash TV series, Eobard Thawne disguises himself as Dr. Wells. And Barry eventually finds this out. We find it out a lot sooner than he does that he's dodgy, really basically from the very beginning of season 1, a few episodes in, when he goes into that big room and he's talking to the artificial intelligence. So that was a big twist. I think the biggest twist we could expect in this Flash movie is, in fact, that Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne Batman is actually Eobard Thawne, but in disguise as Michael Keaton's Batman. Because, let's not forget, our Barry Allen hasn't seen the Keaton movies because it's all a reality to him. He can't scratch his head and say, what are you doing here? You were never part of events, the Earth 1 events to begin with. So how are you part of a Flashpoint scenario? Now, even though what I'm saying kind of makes sense to me, you could say the same thing about Sasha Calais Supergirl. What is she doing in a Flashpoint Earth 1 scenario? So that kind of exposes what I'm already saying. It still doesn't somewhat make sense to me how Keaton's Batman can be there. And so, yeah, I think it could be a really, really kind of interesting twist if Eobard Thawne is actually Michael Keaton's Batman in disguise. Michael Keaton's Batman befriends Barry. they're on the same team, or they appear to be in the same team. This is exactly what Dr. Wells, aka Eobard Thawne, did in season 1 of The Flash, making out he wanted to train the Flash, but really he wanted the Flash to be as strong as possible so he could go back to his time. And so we could be looking at a similar scenario here. This would make a lot of sense. We've also seen a bloody Michael Keaton Batman cowl. That could be when Eobard Thawne killed him and took his form and took his shape. Because we've had no mention of Reverse Flash. We haven't had casting for Reverse Flash. They haven't told us anything apart from Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and a few other cast members like Sasha Calle's Supergirl. And so there is a cast list on IMDb, but I can assure you there's so many more members who are not being announced, who we're not going to know about. It'd be interesting. It's a bit like Spider-Man No Way Home. Who will show up at the premiere? Well, who will show up at the premiere of the Flash movie? So I think Reverse Flash is in this movie. They obviously want to keep it as a surprise. A lot of people saying the other Barry is actually Eobard Thawne and he betrays him. That could be an interesting twist. I just don't think I can see Ezra Miller playing himself and Eobard Thawne for the entirety of this franchise. It's just too much to do. I can't see that being a thing. And I think the most excellent twist would be that Eobard Thawne has actually disguised himself as Michael Keaton's Batman. Now, of course, this could be somewhat controversial to the fans, to the Keaton Batman fans. You brought him back and it's not really him. So instead of killing him, of course, he could have him caged up or something, and maybe he comes out and he helps save the day in the end. Now, since DC Fandom China on last Saturday, Andy Muschietti, not Michael Keaton, but Andy Muschietti has said a lot of interesting things. He said something about these three people, he kind of said these three losers saving the world in terms of our Barry Allen, an alternate Barry Allen, and Sasha Calle's Supergirl, as he mentioned someone who needs kind of the power of the sun. So they're going to be the three heroes of this movie. They're kind of going to be the three central characters, because I know they don't want to reveal Keaton's Batman blatantly in the marketing at this moment in time, and I can understand that. But the bloody Batman cap, and the fact that Muschietti has said these three central figures are going to be the heroes of this story and they have to save the world, without mentioning Michael Keaton's Batman. And so I was watching a video yesterday from Dingus Bingers saying, oh yeah, Reverse Flash will be in the movie. And I didn't know this, but in the comics, actually Eobard Thawne has surgery to look like Barry Allen. So the other scenario, away from my Michael Keaton Batman disguise thing, could be that Eobard Thawne has disguised himself as Ezra Miller's Barry, an alternate version, and that could be a thing. That's the way he uses Barry. So he needs Barry to fix Flashpoint. They need to fix Flashpoint together, so then he's free to go all around the multiverse and cause trouble. So that could be another thing. I actually like the idea of Eobard Thawne being in disguise as Michael Keaton's Batman, because I think many people won't see that coming. Thankfully, I'm not spoiling anything, because not many people watch my videos, so that's a good thing, right? Just this once. That's a good thing. And so, yeah. So I think it's definitely Eobard Thawne is either in disguise as this alternate version of Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller as well, or Michael Keaton's Batman. I think one of these scenarios is true, and I think this could be brilliant. So I think Eobard Thawne is there, Reverse Flash is there. He won't remain as Ezra Miller. He's actually got another form, and I think he has been cast, but we're not going to know. Even when we're watching the film, we're not going to know who's playing him. Now, because of the way things are with superhero movies, there probably will be some leaks eventually on some casting for the Reverse Flash. And so that may happen. And so I actually think Patrick Wilson would have made an awesome Eobard Fawn. And because we're playing in the multiverse now, of course that's possible. But, you know, there's so many actors out there who could play Fawn, who could play Reverse Flash. So Reverse Flash is certainly in this movie. They're certainly going to set him up. And I think how much we see of him, I don't know. Because apart from a minute or two sneak peek, we've seen nothing of this movie. Mostly what we've heard about this movie are rumours. So please comment down below and let me know. Do you think Reverse Flash is in this movie? Do you think that my theories about him either being in disguise as the other alternate Barry Allen or Michael Keaton's Batman are true? Let me know which one you would like to see, and would you like to see Reverse Flash in this movie? The Flash movie has as many rumours as I've ever seen for a DC Extended Universe movie before, and one of them is that Michael Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman will actually share screen time. I think it would be absolutely a wasted opportunity if this doesn't happen. But of course, we're dealing with a story that needs to go from A, B, and C. It needs its 3 acts, and it needs to do what it does, and this is Barry's movie. As Andy Muschietti keeps on saying, and people keep on saying, I want to see a Flash movie, this is absolutely a Barry Allen-led movie. It doesn't mean he can't cross paths with other DC characters. So it's good that we're getting all these crossovers. We know Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman will definitely be in this, and several other heroes from the Justice League. So how could Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman share screen time? Well, there could be a scenario where I can't see where Batfleck from Earth 1, directly from Earth 1, could share screen time with Keaton's Batman unless Keaton comes back with Barry when he fixes Flashpoint and they're both there on screen together. Because I don't think Batfleck is being deleted. I don't think many things will be deleted, but things will certainly change. And we've already been told it'll be like they're pressing the reset button on the DC Extended Universe, but they're not forgetting anything, which is great for all the fans, especially the fans like us of the Snyderverse. And so what could happen is, while Barry goes to Flashpoint, when he's in the Flashpoint Earth, the alternate version of Earth 1, there could be another version, a fucked up version of Ben Affleck's Batman. Or he could play Batfleck's father in an alternate universe. But there are also rumours of, what's his name? The guy who from The Walking Dead, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, that's it, one of my favourite actors, yeah. He played Thomas Wayne in the opening sequence of BVS, didn't he? So I think there's still a good chance we will see him as Thomas Wayne, and we could see an alternate version of Batfleck in this Flashpoint universe. So you could see kind of Keaton and Batfleck sharing screen time like that, and these rumours are doing the rounds. But I do think that Thomas Wayne, aka Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is involved in this film. Again, it would be a wasted opportunity, and I know a lot of Snyderverse fans who would be so thankful if Andy Muschietti does this. Again, I don't know how involved that would make him, if it's just a quick cameo, but anything would make the fans happy. So I think that's how Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton's Batman can share screen time. It'd be even better if they're both wearing the cape and the cap, and maybe they unite together. But you see, there's so many scenarios that this film can bring up, because, as I keep on saying, we're playing in the multiverse now. So Ben Affleck doesn't necessarily just have to be playing his version of Batman Bruce Wayne. He could play multiple versions of this character in this film. But again, it seems from what everyone in the know is saying, Ben Affleck did like 1 week of filming. If that's true, we're not going to see much of him apart from in the first act. But of course, people can be wrong. because people have only seen what they want you to see. So they want most of this film, if not all of this film, to be a surprise. We know Sasha's Supergirl, but we don't know which Supergirl, what she's doing in the film. I've already given my theory for that, but I do feel that that's the way Keaton and Affleck could actually share screen time as well. Please comment down below and let me know what you think about this. But this is the fun thing about the Flash movie. It throws up infinite possibilities so everyone can sit there and go, what if this happened? What if that happens? That's a good thing. Now, I'm hoping to go and see in the near future, very near future, a test screening of the Batman. But a while back, when they did a couple of test screenings, I did speak to someone who's a friend of mine who did see it. Now, they didn't tell me like spoilers and things like that, but I was also told, like Blu-ray Angel was, about an ending with a drop the mic moment. A drop the mic ending is like in Seven, when Brad Pitt's character realizes Kevin Spacey's serial killer has murdered his wife Gwyneth Paltrow and has her head in a box. This is one of the biggest twists of all time. Now, many people who have seen these test screenings have also said that this film is like a Seven. It is that kind of serial killer versus cop kind of scenario story. So, and I think I've mentioned this in passing before, what if at the end of the movie, the Riddler or someone else does that to Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman? This would be a bigger, more controversial twist than Cavill's Superman breaking Zod's neck. I think if this happens, this would break the internet and people would be angry. Now, because people are obsessing already with Selina and Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne Batman having a romance, but I'm not a shipper, so I don't care about shit like that. I want people to be happy, so for your sakes, I hope my prediction of a Seven twist ending is wrong. But what if Selina Kyle's head is in a box in a shocking finale twist? Because that's what you call a drop the mic moment. Now, I kind of predicted as well, like a while back, that maybe it's Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which would be huge. But I don't necessarily think I'm right there. It's just something I'd love to see. But that could be another shock we see in the movie, because I'm convinced he's involved. Anyway, because, you know, Matt Reeves hasn't said Joker's not involved, but he hasn't told us that Joker's involved. That's interesting. Joker will be involved. Definitely a little bit. Maybe not a lot. Maybe he's leaving the Joker, you know, to another movie. But I think he will be introduced, whoever's playing him, whether it's Joaquin Phoenix or not. But a drop the mic moment is exactly what we got at the end of Seven. What we got in the season 4 finale of Dexter, when, you know, Dexter puts John Lithgow's serial killer in the kill room, kills him, only to find out when he's got home, before he did that, he killed his wife Rita, in a shocking twist, one of the biggest shocking twists in probably live action storytelling. And I think because Reeves is making something similar here, I mean, the people have kind of compared this to a horror movie, you know, so, and everyone's talking about this drop the mic moment. But as I say, if they were to kill Selina Kyle, it would be huge. Also, there's a lot of people saying, including me, that Alfred could be the villain of this story. He could be some kind of kingpin. That could be the drop mic moment, the to be continued moment, that he only got involved in the first place and brought Bruce up to manipulate him, to, you know, and he knows he's Batman. He's helped him become Batman. He can destroy him. He has the power to destroy Bruce at any time. What a huge twist that would be. Now, in Batman Begins, we got this twist at the end, near the end, the beginning of the third act, that Liam Neeson actually wasn't Ducat. He was actually Ra's al Ghul. Big twist. Great twist. So he may not be Alfred at all. So there may not actually be a real Alfred, or Alfred was murdered by him, or whatever. Now that, of course, would piss people off as well, if there isn't an Alfred and he's already dead. But again, it's not a deal breaker for me. This is Matt Reeves, so he's doing something very unconventional. But he loves the comics, so I don't know how deep he'll go to do his kind of things. So it could be revealed that Alfred is the villain of this whole story, the kingpin, and it could be him who actually kills Catwoman. But that could be, you know, Catwoman does this killing, I'm becoming obsessed with it, of Catwoman, it might not happen. It's just a prediction, because this is the kind of form that this film is taking. And so, yeah, I think that Alfred, because of who he's being played, could easily be a villain, or, you know, he could be part of this drop the mic moment. Because a drop the mic moment, because the description from people is, you know, one person saying that they don't care about Batman, and even they were squeezing their knee when they saw this. So something like Catwoman in a shock twist ending up to being dead, or maybe being revealed as the Kingpin herself. Now, I think that would be unlikely. We are in, you know, the times in Hollywood where women can never be portrayed as bad people, you know, let alone a woman of colour. So I think that would be unlikely. And it would probably be unlikely that they'd also kill a female actress of colour playing Selena Kyle. It's unlikely. It would be a huge twist. Of course, Flashpoint could fix all this stuff, but then it would make the whole thing pointless, wouldn't it? And so, yeah, I'd like to know in the comments down below as well, what do you think? What do you think this drop the mic moment is? And I mean, it could be any scenario you want. Have a think about it. Use your imagination and let me know what you think the drop the mic moment is. It could be absolutely anything, we don't know. I mean, it could be a Superman reveal or something silly like that, but I doubt it. It depends what kind of film Reeves is making, but because of the reaction to the test screenings, people going as far as calling it a horror movie, you know, it has a horror movie vibe to it. Of course, this is not Michael Myers, this is not Halloween, but I kind of get what people are saying, the people who have seen this movie already. And so this movie is just under 3 hours long. It's a very long movie as well, so it's interesting. So we've only seen what? With the first trailer and the second trailer, about what? 4 or 5 minutes of footage. It's nothing. People see a trailer and they think they know everything about a movie. I would say to you, as a warning, expect the unexpected with the Batman. These kind of twists that I'm telling you could happen, but they could even be deeper and darker than that. So let me tell you something about Matt Reeves. He's a big fan of the comics, the Bat family. He will be setting everything up in his universe. So will we get that kind of moment? I think if Warner Brothers would be worried about anything, is having a shock twist with Selena Kyle's head in a box. So probably unlikely that Matt did that, because he's trying to set her up. And surely she's got a huge future in the movie, or maybe not. So, you know, these are interesting little theories we can have. Like we've been talking about the Flashpoint movie as well all throughout this video. It's just fun. It doesn't mean what I'm saying or what you're saying is the truth. It doesn't mean we have to argue with each other. That would never happen. Maybe you're right. We're just talking, right? It's just some bald geezer on a video just having a little bit of a chat. So please take it easy with me. I'm not as tough as I look, you know, so be kind, right? But anyway, yeah, I think a drop the mic moment is a huge fucking shock. A devastating shock. A big twist. So when people say that, and I'm surprised it hasn't got out, so people are really taking their NDAs, their non-disclosure agreements, very seriously for once, and I'm happy about that. I can officially tell you now, I don't know what the drop the mic moment is. Of course, if it all pans out and I go and see the test screening, I'll know it as well. And definitely, I won't be able to see you. Of course I'll be able to see you every day on the DCEU Daily. I won't be able to tell you. And so that will be difficult for me, and I'm not decided yet whether I should go and see the test screening. I've applied, but yeah, I'm not sure if I want to see this movie before everyone else, because I've done that in the past and it's kind of spoilt that experience of reacting to it with everybody else. But of course, as a YouTuber, we always like to be in the know before everybody else so we can inform people. But then again, I can't inform you of anything apart from the tone. I can tell you if I liked it or not, things like that, but I'm not going to spoil a movie for you. I'm not going to be that guy. But certainly, I think we can expect a really big, dark, bloody, heart-wrenching twist for Bruce Wayne in the Batman. Rumours, rumours, rumours. There is a big rumour out there that Eternals director Chloe Zhao may be writing and directing a DC movie. This would be very, very interesting. She's also said she'd love to do Star Wars and more MCU. Chloe's very interesting to me because I know quite a bit about her. And, you know, she comes from the indie game. She comes from the indie movie. You know, she's done some fabulous movies. And I'm surprised she's embracing American mainstream movie culture so quickly instead of going back to her roots. But obviously, she has the ambition to work in this kind of playpen. Now, I have seen the Eternals, and I very much like the Eternals. It's nothing like any MCU movie. The only thing I didn't like about it is the forced comedy, which obviously comes from Feige and Disney and Marvel Studios and not Chloe. So I think the movie looks amazing. I love what they did with the flashbacks and what she attempted to do with this movie. She's a very, very good director, and Feige did very, very well to get her in. But he only got her in to pretend he's interested in all tours. So he could say, look at us, we're doing this cool thing as well. Well, you're not. Because you were still policing her through the picture. Oh yeah, you let her shoot a sunset and things like that. But she wasn't in charge of the narrative of the movie. You were, Kevin. So, you know, we're not idiots. But Chloe actually being able to write and direct her own movie would be sensational, especially with the way she makes movies look. So what kind of movie would I like to see Chloe make? Well, obviously, with the hints towards Superman. I mean, Superman is referenced in Eternals, which is nuts. By the way, before we go on with these Chloe Zhao rumours, let's talk about that. They mentioned Superman in this movie, right? A couple of times. What's going on there? Are we looking at hints about the DC universe actually existing in the MCU multiverse? Yes. I told you ages ago, I've been here on this channel since 2018, and I've been telling you since the very, very beginning, this is inevitable, an MCU-DCEU crossover. The MCU exists in the DCEU multiverse, and the DCEU exists in the MCU multiverse. They're talking already. That's why we're already getting these creatives from the MCU like James Gunn and Taika Waititi being involved with Warner Brothers. So this will happen. They're planning it already. They're just not going to tell us yet. And I don't know what they will do, if it's an Avengers versus the Justice League or something like that. Of course, this could be a good thing and a bad thing. I don't want to see a Marvel creative in charge of a DC kind of movie or a DC MCU crossover, a DCEU MCU crossover. Because I would like to see a Marvel person running this thing and a DC person running this thing. And you know, there's a lot of talented people. I mean, I'm not going to drop names because I don't think that's fair to those people, or other people I'm not going to mention. So there will be an MCU DCEU crossover eventually. Maybe 5 years time, maybe 10 years time. It's going to make a lot of money. This is the next evolution in the superhero thing. Superheroes are now the thing. Everybody loves them. I love them. You love them. So this will happen. So I'm not against this. Now, maybe Chloe Zhao could direct that. I'd be for that, especially if she's done the Eternals, she does other Eternals movies, and does a DCEU character as well. So because she's mentioned Superman, could this be Chloe's way of hinting she's doing a Superman movie? Interesting. Don't forget, Feige's allowed the references to Superman. This is a hint. This is a hint that Superman is a reality in Eternals, which is great. So maybe Chloe will do a Superman movie. Think about this. Think about this for a moment. Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing a Superman movie, and J.J. Abrams is producing the same movie. Chloe Zhao would be the perfect person to do this movie. If we're looking at representation and inclusion, an Asian woman, one of the best directors in the world, Chloe, this is a fact, in terms of international film, is one of the best directors in film. I don't like to shill MCU movies, but what I saw from Eternals was sensational. and I recommend you all go to see it. Because at the end of the day, I criticise the MCU, but when they do something good, I'm going to tell you they did something good. I'm not a fucking baby, right? I'm not a deluded idiot. Anyway, and so I think Chloe, this is my prediction, right? Because I do notice there's people saying, oh, Sasha Calais, Supergirl. I'm still not sure if Sasha Calais is part of the future of the DCEU, but because she's part of the multiverse, she could appear again. We'll see what's going on with her character. Definitely a replacement for Flashpoint Superman. Definitely Flashpoint Supergirl. So that's my prediction, that Chloe Zhou will direct the Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams produced Superman movie. What do you think about that? Would you like to see Chloe Zhou direct that Superman movie, that black Superman movie? I think it would be perfect. You now put a talented actor in that role. You've got a talented director. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a very, very strong social writer. Now, people don't like him because he writes a lot about social justice. But if you write social justice in a good way, an educational way, it's still a good thing. We could be getting something very special here. So I would love to see Chloe direct the Ta-Nehisi Coates penned and J.J. Abrams produced Superman movie. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, please subscribe, please. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to the existing subscribers. Your support means everything to me. I will be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye.